government and political system. I'm sure those of us sitting in the room who are dealing with the government, the change in the government system and the political system in Hong Kong would tell you half a day is too long. And if our students are not well equipped to understand and appraise the situation, and when they go into the workforce, how would they be able to react? How would they be able to make the decision taking full well into consideration these factors? So the speed of scientific development and innovation, I do not need to go deep into this. I'm sure that all of you know the speed of new information, new invention, new technological development available on a daily basis. Look, the global financial crisis has challenged conventional management wisdom and underscored the need for corporate world to redefine itself, adopt state-of-the-art management and risk management techniques, and shift from overly aggressive profit-taking to designing solutions that truly take account of a fast-changing market and constraint. Ladies and gentlemen, why would we be facing financial crisis one after the other in the close proximity of a few years? Another set of Harvard professor described this age, the post-financial tsunami age, as the age of permanent crisis. Meaning what? It's a period that we would need skills tailored to an environment of urgency, high stake, and uncertainty. Meaning what? We have to make quick decision, which has high stake, and in an environment which is totally not certain, with a lot of uncertainty attached to that. So businesses and the new workforce will be facing all these challenges. And when we examine most of the corporate failure, ladies and gentlemen, is the result of fraud. And we know we can never legislate to ensure integrity, ensure good governance of company, ensure people don't cheat or steal, to ensure that we'll be able to eradicate fraud. It has to be built upon good personal values and objectives and integrity. So, ladies and gentlemen, what are the attributes that our 21st century workforce would have to be equipped with and be prepared for? I think when we started with our first round of education reform, we have 4 principal elements that we said that our next generation workforce must possess. And first one is being motivated to learn and motivated to work. And secondly is that they should be able to communicate well their ideas. And thirdly, they should be responsible citizens, responsible to themselves, to the family, to the community, to the company that they work for. And finally, they need to be creative. I'm sure a lot of people said that you're old-fashioned, you're outdated, when I refer you back to the 4 slogan that we came out. 樂於學習，善於溝通，勇於承擔，敢於創新. Ladies and gentlemen, these are nothing new. But when I was interviewing a lot of job applicants in my office, I was asking myself, why? They seem to be very clever people. They hold high credentials from our universities and colleges. But why can't they even answer a very simple question that I asked? Why can't they tell me what they have up here? And why would they, for $50 more, move next door to work for another employer. And finally, why would they come back to me and say that, look, Mr. Cheng, the president did not tell me what to do. Can you tell me what to do? They cannot simply tackle the simple problem that I would expect someone with common sense would be able to do. After all, what the lawyers need is a lot of common sense. And finally, I think what we are looking for in the 21st century worker is the ability to learn, to keep on learning, to be a lifelong learner. And what would make the 21st century Hong Kong worker excel is to be able to be bilingual, to be proficient in both English and Chinese. A lot of parents said that, oh, you are asking for too much. I said, look, for the simple taxi driver taking our friends who are visiting Hong Kong these few days, I mean, including some of you sitting in this audience, if he can't even understand to take you from your hotel to the convention center, what would he be able to do in the days to come? So, and they have to be triliterate. They have to be fluent in English, Putonghua, and Cantonese. And of course, it is more advantageous if they can be trained to be multilingual. The knowledge and skill, they need to have broad horizons and knowledge base. They need to have the learning to learn capability. And most important of all, we got to instill into them the proper values and attitude. The basic life values to be good, proper citizen, the persistence to work, the perseverance, multi-perspective taking, respect for others and different views, multicultural awareness, and adaptability. So, ladies and gentlemen, how can the community help to nurture its 21st century workforce? Sir Michael Barbara told us very quickly, it's through education we can build up every individual in a culturally diversified and dynamic world. The determinant of the quality of our HR workforces for the 21st century. Globalization and paradigm shifts have fundamentally changed the skills needed in the workplace, irrespective of what line of business you are in. And scientists tell us that the half age of knowledge is only 5 years. So, ladies and gentlemen, the traditional Chinese notion of teaching, filling the ink bottle, the empty ink bottle of every student, is no longer applicable, because in 5 years' time, half of the ink would need to be poured away because they are no longer relevant. And some of the skill and knowledge students need in the later days in their workplace have not yet even been discovered or invented today. So how can you teach them all and get them ready before you graduate them from university or graduate them from school? Traditional notion of teaching and learning would not adequately equip our students and get them ready to face the world in the 21st century. In a fast-changing world of the 21st century, we need to nurture our students with all-round development and lifelong learning capabilities to help them meet the challenges ahead. So, despite the very, very popular guy on TV these few days, Mr. Rupert Murdoch summarized it all. He said no one's going to be able to operate without a grounding in basic sciences. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we are asking our students to learn in the curriculum reform. Language will be helpful, although English is becoming increasingly international. For workers in this part of the world, just mastering English is not sufficient. And travel. So is it not that the element of travel and exchange being introduced into our new education curriculum, you have to have a global attitude. So, the Education Commission in September 2000 proposed a set of reforms basing on this fundamental principle. Education enables individuals to develop their potential, construct knowledge, and enhance personal quality. Education is not only preparing qualified personnel for the society, it has a more far-reaching mission of giving everyone, regardless of social origin or family background, equitable opportunities for personal advancement, and no one is to be deprived of such opportunities for self-development and success, if only he has the ability and the determination to fully exploit the learning opportunity. So the vision of our education reform is to build a lifelong learning society, to raise the overall quality of students, to construct a diverse school system, to acknowledge the importance of moral education, to create an inspiring learning environment and community, to develop an education system that is rich in tradition, but cosmopolitan and culturally diverse. So for basic education, we want to ensure that every student attains the basic competencies, while those with greater potential be allowed to further excel. And for senior, secondary, and post-secondary, we want a diversified and multi-channel education system to provide more opportunities and choices, a broad-based education. So, ladies and gentlemen, it means multiple choices, multiple exits and re-entry to continuing education, and multiple pathways to stretch the potential of all individuals. That's the vision that the Education Commission had when we first designed this set of education reform. More than a decade later, the reform initiatives are progressively and smoothly implemented, and students are provided with multiple pathways, amongst which the post-secondary sectors offer our youngster quality and diversified choices. I emphasize this quality and diversified choices. So in conclusion, it is only through quality education that Hong Kong can nurture future leaders to steer its development and groom responsible citizens to contribute to its continual prosperity and stability. We must remember that the acquisition of knowledge is part of education, but only a part. The intellectual, social, and cultural development that occur while great minds are being nurtured in university are of equal importance. If Hong Kong is to be leader in providing education for grooming regional leaders of tomorrow, our schools and university should focus more in developing all-rounded students, and our community should acknowledge and recognize students in their achievements in all aspects, rather than just the grades that they score in public examination. And ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly what it was 15 years ago, and still quite predominant these days. More than 10 years ago, and in response to all these factors, we have embarked ambitiously on the road of education reform. These reforms, in my submission, would let us catch up with the best practices which are enabling students to learn better and allow our education system to integrate better with the rest of the world. As a concerned citizen, and as someone who has been involved in education in Hong Kong for some time, I certainly can see hope, and I have every confidence in the future of our education system. It is not just simply optimism, as we are not abandoning the traditional objectives or values of formal education. What we are seeking to do, ladies and gentlemen, is to widen its scope to better equip and prepare our future generation. Thank you very much.